As if Goofy could have outsmarted a lion. Father's Lion is a short directed by Jack Kinney. This originally was released in 1952, and here we have Goofy as his George Geef character. I never understood why they renamed Goofy to George Geef when he was playing this kind of everyman individual. I'm pleased they kind of stopped doing that, but of course it doesn't actually impact on my enjoyment of this short or any others. And in this one, George takes his son Junior on a camping trip, and this gives us some very interesting animation, some really nice scenic woodlands, and a lion. Now, why they chose to go camping where there was possibly going to be a lion, I have no idea. That is some questionable parenting. But nevertheless, they do potentially encounter this lion. They don't always know when it's around, but we as the viewer do of course. I like that little bit of dramatic irony, and I like Junior's curiosity. George, on the other hand, fancies himself as a bit of an expert hunter. He tells his son about tales of capturing lions and things, and obviously there's this potential risk of him coming face to face with this lion. If that happens, how is he going to fare? Is he as courageous and as talented as he actually says he is? And is there any real danger to George? I think it's nice enough. The treatment of the lion was perfectly fine. I was worried that I was going to go down the hunting and wearing of furs route, but it wasn't that bad. Obviously there are mentions of hunting and some related animation, which some people may not like too much, but when you actually look at it in the scope of the narrative itself and what is actually true with what George is saying, the message itself is not actually that bad, but it does touch upon subjects of hunting and things that I know some people might not enjoy, which is completely understandable. Not that I particularly enjoy the hunting messages, but they are in there. Junior as a character is very likable. I think he's a very sweet son. I love seeing Goofy interact with his son, whether that's Goofy and Max or George Geef and Junior. It's very nice to see him as the everyman, being the loving father who wants to bestow onto his son wisdom that he may not necessarily actually have. But I think it's a nice enough narrative that flows quite well. It's a sweet story of a father and a son. A father maybe stretching the truth a little bit too much. It's apparently based on The Mountain Lion by Robert William Murphy. I've not read that, but if you have, feel free to let me know how it compares, if the stories are anything like it, or if it is just very loosely based. But as a short on its own, I found it to be quite pleasant. Not one that I will rush to watch again. It didn't make me laugh too much. I didn't find it overly amazing, but it was sweet. The animation style was very nice. The narrative structure worked well. Ultimately, I have no complaints about Father's Lion.